Hey, it's Nay. Get ready for all things educating, all things motivating, and all things inspiring. Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my podcast. This is the first video of 2022, but before we start, you guys know how I do. I want to know, what kind of tea are you sipping on today? And this is meant, for the first time, this is meant to be a deeper question. Not just the drink, physically, but your thoughts and your mindset. What is your mind and brain feeding on? And how is it currently affecting you? Have you ever thought about it? Probably not, right? Yeah, we sip on a lot of tea on the daily, especially when it comes to jobs and surroundings, family, friends, organizations, social events, the list goes on. And we are constantly feeding on the things that people and things feed us. That they say, that they do. But how is it affecting you? Is it affecting you in a good way? Or is it affecting you in a negative way? Be careful who and what you let in there. And I'm gonna keep it real and raw. Sometimes you just gotta keep a bouncer at the door. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let anyone or anything in there. You have to protect your mind at all costs, protect your peace at all costs, and invest in yourself and know not to let anybody or anything waste your time. So I would intro this episode as episode ... but I'm going to be a realist with you guys really quick. I forgot what episode I'm on. And to be quite honest, maybe I should just stop keeping track. After I edit this, I'm probably going to look back and say, oh, it's episode 6 or episode 7 or episode 8. I'm probably somewhere around there. But I'm proud that I have made it this far, firstly. Secondly, I sometimes just need a little readjusting. There's been many times and many occasions where I just get so overwhelmed and I start doing so many different things, and that is one of the main reasons why I have not done a podcast video for 2022. I cannot believe it. It is March, National Women's Empowerment Month, might I say, and this is the first time I'm doing a video. It's March 4th that I'm recording this on right now, but nevertheless, we are here, we are ready, so let's get into it, because I'm excited and I hope that what I say really does touch someone's heart, touch someone's soul. I've definitely gone through a lot starting this year, but for the most part, I honestly have to say the good has outweighed the teeny weeny bad. So I wanted to just let you guys know up front that this podcast episode specifically, I'm going to be discussing a variety of topics. This isn't just going to be one thing, but the main thing that I want to talk about, really, quite honestly, is to create your own happiness. Maybe I might have mentioned it before in one of my YouTube videos or social media posts, or possibly even on this podcast, but creating one's own happiness is the key to a happy life, because if we continue to lean on people to be our breath of fresh air, what happens when they're gone? We are going to choke and suffocate and struggle on a daily basis to breathe, technically speaking, like to breathe above water. But when you are the source of how peaceful you're going to be today, how joyful you're going to be today, how excited you're going to be today, you know, how chill you're going to be today, that is all up to you. And especially starting this year for 2022, I have seen that change in me tremendously. I cannot stress it enough. And that's why I talk about it so passionately, because before, and I know I've mentioned my anxiety on here and, you know, being frustrated and letting certain things get to me, I have come a long way. But one of the reasons why it's because of my mindset. And my mindset thinking, okay, this might be bad happening right now, or this might be frustrating, or someone just ticked me off, but I'm not going to let it overtake me, because then you start becoming a person in that particular individual story, and then you're not chasing your own dreams. You're not chasing or focusing on yourself, and it could be for that moment, for that day, for that week, for that month. It all depends, but it's very important to take time aside to see, okay, what are some things that I have to focus on. Some people might not have this problem. Some people might be having wonderful days, on a daily basis, or for the most part of it. But some of us, including myself, I've always had a problem with making sure that I'm staying on top of myself to make sure that I am enjoying my day and I'm not just living for the weekends. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we're like, okay, where is Friday? Where is Saturday? I just want Saturday and Sunday to be here. We should not be thinking like that. We should be happy and grateful and joyful and excited for every day, because we never know what it's going to bring. And I tell you, the minute I started doing this, especially for the kind of like towards the end of last year and turning into this year, I have done it literally so much. And when I tell you, Friday comes a lot faster. Not saying that I'm living for Fridays, but I noticed off the bat that Friday, like, my week goes by so fast. Particularly, yeah, because I am busy and because I do a lot throughout the week. But another reason is because I am creating my own happiness. I'm not living for the weekends. I'm embracing and I'm living in each moment and each day. And I'm being grateful along the way. I'm being happy along the way. I'm being mindful along the way. There's so many things that go into it. And before you know it, Sunday is here and then the week has begun all over again. So how do we choose how our day is going to be? How do we say, yes, I'm still going to have a good day, even though we've had a bad day? Well, tip number 1, what is your priority? Because especially if it is something small that you allowed to get the best of you, you might want to readjust your lens and be like, you know what, this should not even be entertaining my time right now. Why am I wasting my time and my life and my thoughts and my anger, my frustration on whatever happened or whatever was said? How can I turn it around and cause myself to become happy again? Cause myself to be lighter again, cause myself to be more free again and not really care or give a crap or what anybody else is saying or what they're doing. And I even had an incident this week actually where I was somewhere and I just was like, I'm so over today already. And it was only like 9 o'clock. It was 9 in the morning and I said I was already done. I was already done with today. And I made up in my mind that I needed to put myself first and I needed to just back off, readjust, and restart. And I did it. I did exactly that. I went home. I changed my clothes, dressed into my comfy attire, put my bed down, put my timer on for 30 minutes to take a power nap. I'm not really one to do naps, but at that moment, I was like, you know what, maybe it's because I'm tired, or maybe I just need to rest a little bit, and maybe I will, readjust how I'm thinking or how I'm feeling. And when my timer went off, I put it on for 20 more minutes, and then after that timer went off, I finally got up. I felt so much better. I felt energized. I felt excited. When I tell you I restarted my day, I restarted my day. Who's to say that we can't restart our days? Sure, the day might have already started, but who's to say that we can't get up or stop what we're doing and take a break and readjust how we're feeling, attack what is actually going on. Like, when I say attack, I mean really get to the bottom of it. What is causing me to be off balance right now? What is causing me to lose my focus right now? Once you get those out of the way, take a deep breath. For some people, you might feel like you have to, maybe exercise, go on a walk, go on a jog. For me, it was taking a nap, being home in my space, in my sanctuary, putting on some comfy clothes. The temperature was perfect. My bed felt amazing. Coming home, just getting right in bed at 11 o'clock. That is just the most randomest, spontaneous, craziest thing I've probably ever done for a workaholic like myself. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself that I did it, because after I was done, I realized that was exactly what I needed to start my day better and to turn my day around. And when I tell you, after I got up from that nap, I went to work. I was doing this, that. I was doing all of that. And by the time the day was over and I was getting ready to go to bed, I was like, you know what? Today was a good day. And I wasn't thinking about my frustrating and my tiring time earlier that morning, but I was referring to after I readjusted my thoughts, took a deep breath, and started over. We can start over. We don't have to struggle with what we're dealing with for the whole entire day. I mean, not all of us have the luxury of stopping what we're doing to readjust our life or our situation at the moment. But if you do have that freedom, I honestly say take it. Take that opportunity and see exactly how much it will do for you and see how much it helps you. So with that being said, I wanted to honestly point you guys to the fact that you should never, ever let negative energy get the best of you. And I'm going to point again to my past experience because there was a recent situation again this week where I was excited about something. My day was going great. I literally was looking forward to so many things. I was on a roll. I was just very upbeat, very motivated, very determined, and I was just working, and I was very in my zone. And then someone comes and they are literally like the total opposite. They're moping around. They're not of like a happy aura, happy energy. And right off the bat, it affects me because I'm like, oh, gee whiz. Like, I'm just this excited, happy, carefree person. And now this person that's around me right now is worried, or they're dealing, or they're stressing out about something. And it's kind of making me feel uncomfortable because now I feel like my happiness is kind of being dimmed upon. Like, you know, I'm a ray of sunshine and then the rain and thunderstorms come because of somebody else. And then now, like, it's like my sunshine is fighting to stay through the clouds. You know what I'm saying? But I am proud of myself because when I realized that somebody's negative energy was affecting me, I closed the door on it. Like, I George Jefferson that stuff. Like, I literally took the door and I slammed it. And I'm talking metaphorically when I say this, but when something or someone comes to you with negative energy, shut the door on them. Shut it. Do not let them say the last word. I'm sorry, Bentley. Like, we gonna have to interrupt you and you're not gonna be able to finish what you had to say. I'm happy that you got your salt, whatever else that you needed that you ran out of, Bentley, but I'm sorry. We're not doing this today. And just say that to yourself. And I did that for me. For the first time ever, I did that for me. I shut the door on negative energy and I put myself into that space. And I'm not going to lie, like, it took me at least a few minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes to really readjust myself. And I was kind of like thinking to myself and in my head, like, you know, they're going through what they're going through, but you're not gonna let that affect you. I stayed steady on my work. I tried to stay, you know, what's the word, focused on what I was already doing, because I did get sidetracked by that kind of negative energy that was put towards me. But I nevertheless, I persisted and I continued to have a good day. And I feel like it's important for us to do that because what if, number one, what if we turn our positive energy into negative energy? Then that would be 2 or more people feeding a whole bunch of negative energy, and then it would be all chaos. It would be horrible. But take example number 2. One person with negative energy, one person with positive energy. There's 50% chance on both sides how one side could affect the other. But on most occasions, hopefully speaking, doing or staying positive or continuing to do positive things could hopefully affect someone who is going through something that's negative. And it can turn their day around, or at least that certain moment around, or ease it for them and also ease it for you, to make sure that you're staying your truest self, to make sure that your peace is not being disturbed, and so on. It's very, 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 very important that we are strong about our mindsets. We cannot, I can't stress it enough, you cannot let people, you can't let them mess with your head. You have to put a guard on it. Put a guard on it. When people want to be talking crazy, and again, I'm referencing to George Jefferson, as he says it multiple times, come off it. Literally tell that, come off it, because you're talking a whole bunch of nonsense right now. You're talking a whole bunch of crazy ridiculousness, and we're not having it today. We're going to be having a happy day. We're going to be having a good day, and that all starts with you. When I worked in the school, every morning they do the announcements, but in the announcements they also include affirmations for the kids to repeat. I am strong, I am brave, I am kind, I'm smart. Certain things like that. You kind of have to do that for yourself, but also you have to be wise enough and smart enough and knowledgeable enough about yourself to know when you need a good reminder throughout the day. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've been going through a heck of a day, and I'm like, Naomi, you got this. Things might not be okay right now, but they will, but you'll be all right, girl. You'll be okay. And literally me saying that for 10 seconds, however long it takes me to say all that stuff to myself, it seriously lifts me up. And if it doesn't lift me up mentally, at least it makes me laugh. It makes me sound like, you know what, Naomi, I like you. I like my personality. I like where my mind is going. I like where my feet are heading. It's hard, especially in today's world. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard, especially also living in holiness and trying to be a woman of God, because even for me specifically, I just be thinking there's so many other things that I should be worried about right now, especially on the spiritual side and salvational side, rather than worrying about things like my business or my art or my Instagram followers or my YouTube subscribers or my views on my blog and how many people viewed, listened to, or commented on my podcast. It's just, at the end of the day, of course, there's always going to be things that are more important. But in the moment, when you live in the moment, you want to cherish that moment. And when you look back on it, you don't want to look back on it and see how people let you stay frustrated and upset and angry. When I tell you, the littlest thing someone did or said to me, I would let it trail on for the rest of my day. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. This is how, upset I used to be. I used to let people get the total best of me. And that was whether or not they realized that. I don't even, honestly, I don't even know if they realized it half the time. But just so many things in my life in the past where I just let people get the best of me. And I'm just sitting here why did all this time I could have been thinking about how to better market my business and how to be a better friend and how to find healthier recipes so I can stop eating the same old healthy food throughout the week, and more interesting and creative ways to put fruits and veggies and herbs into my waters and stuff like that. There's so many other self-improving and self-benefiting things that we could be thinking about and pondering about all day long, but instead we choose to sit back and just be in this negative aura because of what was said or what was done. It's just, when I've realized how much I've grown, I can finally say I feel free. And I've never been one to use that phrase because to me, free is a very strong word, and not a lot of people experience freedom. And this goes for a lot of different categories: financial freedom, mental freedom, relationship freedom, your kind of like your mindset freedom, spiritual freedom, physical freedom, or whatever that might be. That comes in, physical freedom is like, that comes like a whole different category. And so do all the other things that I just mentioned. But when I realized that for a while now, I haven't been resulting in all of the, I'm working on it, and I hope that whatever you guys are dealing with, you guys are working on it as well. Because I tell you, it's literally so amazing to know that things that used to bother you then do not bother you as much anymore. It's okay to say that you're not 100% over it. That's perfectly fine. But as long as we're improving, that's a good sign. That's how we know that we're heading in the right direction. And I honestly just made a YouTube video today. It's Zen Girl Part 3, and I discussed a lot of things that have to do with mental stuff, mental determination and your mindset and stuff. And it goes down also to, you'll never be able to do or be the thing or the person that you want to be. You'll never be able to live that luxurious life that you so much desperately want and desire if you don't put your mind first. And this kind of brings me back to the beginning part of this podcast when I talked about what type of tea are you sipping on. Were you hanging around a group of people today who are bad mouthing somebody else, and now you yourself have bad thoughts or bad image about that person in your mind? Think about it. Were you around someone, something, a group of people, doesn't matter who it is, and you heard them talking, being discouraging about their lives, about other people's lives, and then it makes you reflect on your life thinking, well, gee, what am I doing here? Why am I wasting my time trying to achieve this or that or blah, 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 blah? Why? What tea are you sipping on? Are you sipping on positive feedback? Are you sipping on positive encouragement? Are you sipping on positive ways to change and live your life? Are you surrounding yourself with positive things? With encouraging things? With people who make you want to challenge yourself to be a better person? Instead, are you possibly giving negative people the time of day? Are you letting them or their words live rent-free in your mind? Because I hope not. I really hope not. But, it could be possible. Who knows? I used to let a lot of things get to me. Constantly. But now, there are so many other things that are 100% times more important than what anyone will ever have to say. Today as well, this morning, after doing a lot of thinking about it and starting to draft up ideas, I started a group chat on my Instagram, and I pulled a couple of different people that I talk to and that I trust and that I can confide in. And I said, hey, I am hopefully going to be bringing some new feature content about women and females and how much we have to struggle in holiness and how much it is, when it comes to dressing modestly and acting modestly and so on and so forth. And the amount of things that these ladies had to say already in the short hours that I posted these questions, it's just crazy. It is crazy. And when I think about it, there's so many things that could have stopped us from being the people that we are today, but instead we pursued. We didn't give up when it came to finding our styles and fashion. We didn't give up at going to the gym just because we have to wear a skirt and a head covering. We didn't give up when it came to getting the job that we wanted, despite what we might believe or despite how we might look on the outside. There's so many things that go with it, but I really, I'm going to be doing a lot more content, of course, about us ladies, but y'all already know me. I do it all the time anyways. That's what my YouTube channel is always about. Regardless, I honestly just, if I can just reach out to just one person and make them believe everything that I'm saying is possible, if they're going through something right now that they believe they will not be able to turn around, if they believe that they will not be able to overcome, trust me, you will. Because I'm speaking from personal experience. There were years in my past, like between college and between now, where it's just my anxiety was off the charts, where my overthinking was off the charts, where my self-doubt and insecurities were off the charts, where I was frustrated so much more than I should have been. I was a lot angrier, and not necessarily, attacking people as an angry, but so many angry things that I held deep down inside that just kept boiling and boiling and boiling and boiling over the surface. And it's not good for our health. It's not good for our way of life. It's not good because then we eventually, if we're not careful, our energy could possibly vibe onto other people, and that is not okay. We have to take responsibility for our own actions, take responsibility for our own thoughts, for our own motivation, for our own encouragement, for our own inspiration. If you can't find it within yourself, it's okay to depend on others for that, but you want to make sure at the end of the day, you got it yourself. You are thinking positively. You don't have to see someone's positive post of create your own happiness or be happy or choose joy to be like, oh yeah, maybe I should choose joy. No, you should already have known that for yourself. You should have already been practicing that kind of mindset and that type of lifestyle. Do not let the fear of the unknown or what's happening presently cause you to drift away from the lifestyle that you want to have. We can talk about dreams another day, but if you ain't got your mind right, your head on right, is it screwed on properly, sis? Because if it's not, we're gonna have some malfunctions and problems for the future, for what's gonna come ahead. And I'm trying to learn how to still be patient right now. There's just a lot of things that's happening and that have been happening. But even when I need space, especially if there's like a certain person that I talk to more than others, I will let them know like, hey, I might be distant for a couple of days or probably like a week or something like that, just as a heads up. Because like you don't want to ever burden somebody else with your problems. However, it is nice to be able to confide in people. If you need to vent. Like, there's nothing wrong with venting. No, it's not the same thing as complaining. Venting is simply just expressing how you feel and something that might have happened or might have been said that you need to discuss with somebody else who you can trust. It's 100% okay. It's fine. But all in all, don't ever forget who you are. And I'm saying this because I've dealt with, like, literally, I wasn't expecting this. And I'm going to say this before I come to a close with this podcast. But it was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and someone had called me and I had found out that somebody was talking about me, complaining about me, and supposedly I wear inappropriate clothes. Supposedly I do things that I should not be doing. I don't look modest at all. Like, my lips are too shiny, and FYI, I only wear Carmex. It's a chapstick. And then there's just so many other things that were said, and it was at that point where I realized that even when we are trying our best, even when we really are doing the right thing, there is always going to be someone who thinks that they're higher than other people. And even if they don't think that they're higher than other people, they think they have a right to judge when they do not. And you have to realize that, because you could be on your A game and there will still always be somebody who finds fault in what you do or what you say or how you dress or how you look or how you walk or how you talk. The list goes on. So how do we deal with that? Ignore it. I'm going to pull a George Jefferson again, and I'm going to slam the door in its face, in their face, and move on with my life. And that's exactly what I did. And later this week, which was actually today, a mother reached out to me on Facebook, and I literally, like, to this day, I didn't even know she existed. And that sounds bad, but a lot of us, like, especially in First Church, we don't really know people, especially on Facebook. We might friend you because we realize that you're part of First Church, but we don't exactly know you. Or you might not exactly know me unless you've actually seen me and talked with me in person. Other than that, you're not really going to know a person. But she messaged me. She went out of her way to message me and said that I was doing a wonderful job. She loved the things that I was posting, loved how I was carrying myself, loved how I'm so young and I'm really focusing on my goals and my dreams and whatnot. And just like the way that I'm walking, the way that I'm just trying to keep my head held high and stay positive in life. And it's just some of the things that she said that like reminded me, Naomi, you are doing a good thing. You're gonna do great things. You're going to continue to do great things if you keep putting God first, if you keep believing in yourself, if you keep staying unbothered and not giving a care of what other people have to say or what kind of looks they're going to give you and so on and so forth. And it was at that moment I realized that there's always going to be someone who doesn't understand you. Because truth be told, some people might criticize you because they honestly are trying to help, or because they honestly think that, they think that you don't know what you're doing with your life. But it's just, some people aren't meant to see what we see. We have our own visions and we have our own goals. We have our own image of how we want to be portrayed as a male or female, a woman or man, girl or boy. We have an image. We have an alter ego. A person who is a lot more confident than we are in person, or a person who is a lot more determined, or who is more outgoing than we are in person, but it's just only an image in our head. We all have these things, but at the end of the day, we choose. At the end of the day, it's not going to be the trolls, the haters, the people who stab you in the back, who talk about you behind closed doors. They don't choose at the end who you are. You choose. You choose. We might be clay in the potter's hands, but God has allowed us, or I'm going to speak for myself, God has allowed me to be the person that I am today. Of course I give credit to God, because God is my number one, of course. But if I didn't have, or should I say if God didn't give me the courage, the confidence, the bravery to stand out, to be who I truly am meant to be, I don't know where I would be, honestly. I'm artistic, and I'm artistic in more ways than just on a canvas. And it's crazy to think that I'm living the life that I thought would be untouchable. When I was in high school and I was constantly being asked, what are you going to do when you graduate? Or what are you majoring in? Or what college do you want to go to? What are you majoring in? What are you majoring in? What are you majoring in? What are you majoring in again? What's your major again? Constantly hearing those questions and knowing that the answer would always be this. I don't exactly know, but it's going to be something in the arts, something that's creative. That would be my response over and over and over again. And just seeing how God put me in a place that I didn't want to be, but I realized it was for my own good, and I learned, and I actually loved it. I loved the experience, got my degree in it, started making money off of it while I was still in college, might I add. Started my business a year or two later, got hired, got a better job, started making more money, learned a lot more, had more experience working with kids. The list goes on, and it's just like everything happens for a reason. But at the end of the day, as I said before, you choose. I could have just stayed at home, did nothing, or complained about how life wasn't fair, or how I didn't want to work at a fast food restaurant or at a grocery store. I don't really, wherever you live, just envision the typical places that people normally work when they don't, or when they're in college and crap like that. It's just like, you have to trust the process. And I just kept thinking over and over again, When am I going to change? When am I going to be able to live a change? It takes time, but you have to work if you want to get there. You can't just sit around complaining about it and doing nothing about it. It starts with the mind. Your mindset is always got to be the first thing that you take into priority when it comes to being healthy. If your mindset isn't healthy, then how is the rest of your body going to be healthy? Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense, because you can eat all the healthy food you want. If your mind is not right, to me, at the end of the day, your heartbeat is going to be irregular. You're going to be having headaches. You're going to be stressing out and breaking out, and, all the physical things that start to happen to you when your mental health is not being taken care of. And that is a whole conversation for another day. But I'm telling you, like, mental health is no joke. It's not a joke whatsoever. You need to take it very seriously. And yes, February was Black History Awareness Month. I'm sad to say I was not doing a podcast last month where I could have talked more about it, but being that we're going to be all about women, not just for this month, of course, you're crazy, but for this whole entire year, as always, it's very important. Like, you got to focus in on the things that are important. And one of the things that I say to people, and I also say to myself, is tomorrow isn't promised. Life is too short. Life is way too short to be too upset, too angry, too frustrated. It's like, you gotta take life while you have it, because you never know what's gonna happen, what kind of chaos will arise. Like, what's happening in Ukraine right now is crazy. And like, I feel like people in the States think that it's never gonna happen to us. God forbid, if and when it does take place and we're living that kind of life, we're gonna be sitting there, lying there, huddling there, thinking, man, I should have done more with my life. And it sounds depressing when I bring that up, but it's like, and I'm not even talking about Ukraine, I'm talking about, like, just what if something happens to you personally in your life? What if something happens, like, what if there's a flood? What if there's a hurricane? What if there's a tornado? What if, I don't know, like, something happens financially and now, like, you're struggling to make ends meet and you never experienced that before, or you were never close to experiencing that before? What if you lose the ability of some of your limbs, or what if you start having other health problems that you didn't have before and you never thought you would have? We don't want to wait until that happens or those things happen before we take a look at our life and say, hey, I need to make a change for the better. That's just not the way it's gonna work. So with that being said, I hope that there was something in here that really sparked a change, that sparked a little flame in your soul to be inspired and motivated. I get a lot of feedback about how it's crazy or how it's inspirational that I'm so young and I'm doing all these things. Because yeah, I'm 22, but age is just a number. Wisdom, yeah, we get wiser as the years go by, hopefully. But it's also through experiences. It's through the people that we meet, the trials that we face, and how we come out, if we come out stronger or if we come out wiser. So that is all for today's podcast. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make sure you guys, please, I would really appreciate it, but make sure, if you want to, only if you want to, share your story or your comment down below on how you choose happiness on a daily basis. What are things that you do that make your day happy? And if there are things that have happened that kind of put a damper on your day or on your attitude or on your positive vibes, what are things that you do, say, or think to restart your day and make it 10 times better than it was before? So thank you guys so much for tuning into this podcast once again. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, then please make sure you do, because I will be hopefully posting an episode next week as well. I'm really trying, you guys. I've been being consistent with my YouTube videos. I've been consistent with my blog. I've been consistent with my social media posts. I've been consistent with a lot of things. Consistency This year is a big word, a big mover's word for me, and I am working on it. And I'm going to put my podcast deadlines for each month on my to-do board and on my goal board here in my studio space. And I promise you guys, and I'm promising it right here on this recording so that I can hold myself accountable. I promise you guys, I will post, after I post this podcast, I will post a following podcast, though, a week later. I promise. I'm going to make that to myself. That is my goal for this month. If I can do 2 Tea Time with Nate podcasts every month, I would say that's a huge success. Because I already do a lot. So it's not like I have to post a podcast every week. You know what I'm saying? But doing it bi-weekly, that doesn't seem bad. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. So I hope that you... well, specifically you ladies, because I'm assuming that's the majority of my audience. I'm assuming. I know that's the majority of my audience. Thank you, ladies, so much for listening. And I will hopefully see you guys or hear from you guys before the start of my next podcast. Stay blessed, be inspired, and remember that we are educating ourselves truly, one sip at a time.